Hello everyone, Gabe here, PC community developer here at Ubisoft, and today we're excited to jump in some of the PC details around Immortals Fenyx Rising. To get you all that juicy information though, we of course have to talk to the people that know what they're talking about, so we had a few chats with the dev team to talk about what they've done to build you a PC experience. Without further ado, let's get to it. Creating an experience that as many people could access with the tools you need to customize that experience was at the core of what the team set out to do. The goal was not just to put together a quick port for the game so that it's playable on PC, but rather they set out to adapt and develop a fully fledged PC experience. In this case, adapting meant designing and creating dedicated PC features that use all the advantages that come with the PC platform and provide those in-depth customization options and scalability in terms of performance across a wide range of hardware. To properly talk about how the team has achieved this scalability, let's dive into some of the technical details powering Immortals Fenyx Rising. First things first, we have the engine. The game uses an adapted version of the Anvil engine. Anvil is a powerful tool and the foundation that supports vast but also rich open worlds. It's been tailored to be scalable over a variety of platforms and to process significant amount of game content via advanced geometry culling, multi-threading, tiled rendering, and of course all sorts of other optimizations targeted to deliver the ambitious vision to as wide of an audience as possible. All this while keeping the quality bar high, taking advantage of the great knowledge and experience they have working with the engine. In terms of rendering API, the team decided to go with the ever-reliable DX11 to be able to tell Fenyx's story to as many people as possible by supporting a wider range of hardware and providing a smooth experience for everyone. PC isn't PC without a bunch of different settings you can tweak, so let's talk about those and the performance tools the dev team has put in your hands. As part of scalability and the fact that there are basically an infinite amount of different hardware setups that hit different performance levels, the dev team is giving you a bunch of settings that allow you to adjust the visual quality and therefore performance so that you can find the perfect balance for your own setup. All these settings allow you to push your hardware to the max so you can have incredible picture quality, uncapped FPS for all of you with high refresh rate monitors, and set higher resolutions. There's also support for multi-monitor setups up to 48:9 for all of you that really want to extend your experience. Once you have your settings locked in, the team has made sure that you can easily test all that out and make adjustments from there with a dedicated in-game benchmark as well as a real-time performance analyzer so you can use that to get a constant stream of all that juicy performance information. On top of all the visual settings though, you also have all of those that impact how you interact with the game. To give you all that in-depth customization, you'll find fully customizable controls for mouse and keyboard, so you can adjust everything to fit your exact preferences. The 3 C's, so camera, characters, and controls, also have different behaviors when using mouse and keyboard to provide an adapted experience in terms of movement that better suits the input types. On top of that, the game of course also supports a variety of different gamepads and also features hybrid input, which allows you to use multiple devices at the same time. All of this also ties into the accessibility features, which the team has worked hard on to give you the options you need to play in a comfortable way that fits your needs. The team has also implemented some technology from AMD. Fidelity FX is an option you can enable to bring out details with contrast adaptive sharpening that increases quality by enabling sharpness to restore detail after temporal anti-aliasing is applied. In short, and in a bit simpler terms, you'll be able to improve visual quality with very little performance impact. So with all that, what's it look like when we translate that into some PC specs? Well, let's take a look at them. Starting it off at 720p at 30 FPS with very low graphical settings. On the CPU side, you'll need an Intel Core i5-2400 or an AMD FX 6300. For the graphics card, you'll need a GeForce GTX 660 or an AMD R9 280X. For RAM, you're looking at 8 gigs in the dual channel mode setup, and VRAM you'll need 2 GB for NVIDIA and 3 GB for AMD. For storage space, you need 28 GB on a hard drive and at least Windows 7 64-bit for the operating system. Next up, we have the 1080p 30 FPS category at high graphical settings. For the CPU, you'll need an Intel Core i7-3770 or an AMD FX 8350. For the graphics card, you're looking at a GeForce GTX 970 or an AMD R9 290. For RAM, you'll need the same 8GB in the dual channel mode, 4GB of VRAM, and you'll need 28 GB on an SSD, which is the same for the rest of the categories. And similarly, for the rest of the categories, you'll also need Windows 10 64-bit. The next category we have is 1080p at 60 FPS with the high graphical settings. For CPU, you'll need an Intel Core i7-6700 or an AMD Ryzen 7 1700. For the graphics card, you'll need a GeForce GTX 1070 or an AMD RX Vega 56. You'll need 16 GB of RAM in the dual channel mode and 8 GB of VRAM. For the next category, we have 1440p at 60 FPS using the very high graphical settings. For the CPU, you'll need an Intel Core i7-8700K or an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X. For the graphics card, you're looking at a GeForce RTX 2070 Super or an AMD RX 5700. You'll need the same 16 GB of RAM in dual channel mode setup and 8 GB of VRAM. Finally, we have 4K at 30 FPS using the very high graphical preset. For the CPU, you're looking at an Intel Core i7-8700K or a Ryzen 7 3700X. For the graphics card, you'll need a GeForce RTX 2070 or an AMD RX Vega 56. For RAM, you'll need that same 16 GB in dual channel mode setup and 8 GB of VRAM. Do note though that the graphics card requirement for the 1440p settings is higher than the 4K settings because of the FPS target. So with all that information, there are a few important things to note. Close any resource-intense programs in the background that you might have running, keep your drivers up to date, and make sure your Windows is up to date as well. Thanks for watching everyone, we hope that gives you a good rundown of what you can expect from the PC version of Immortals Fenyx Rising. If you haven't already and you want to, you'll find a pre-order link to the game down in the description below, as well as all their channels so you can stay up to date on all their news. But that's it for now, we'll see you next time.